Vintage science fiction books are amazing. It's tragic how most of the world has no idea. The covers, the titles, and of course the contents, they are endlessly fascinating. Dozens and dozens of publishers found success during this paperback boom, and many threw their hat into the SF ring with varying degrees of profitability. Many publishing houses would adopt a distinct livery to make their work stand out. Some an odd size and stylized like the Equinox line from Avon, some legendary like Dawes' Yellow Spines, some with unique features like Ace's Double Line, and others would match the livery for each individual series like Pyramid did here for Doc Smith's Lensman. Of course, Pyramid had some misses, but without a doubt, one of the most eye-catching and memorable liveries came from a publisher called Laser Books. Hello everybody, Jake here, and please join me as we take a gander into this particularly strange and short-lived publisher, but I mean, it's undeniable. Look at these. They're pretty cool. But before we get into the books, let's take it back to the beginning. During the early 70s, a new editor quickly rose to prominence, and that man was Roger Elwood. By 1974, he had already published 55 anthologies, and a quarter of all SF anthologies released during that time had his name on it. Now, Canadian powerhouse publisher Harlequin had made some attempts to publish SF, but nothing successful or noteworthy. A big part of that was their business model, because the bulk of Harlequin's sales weren't at bookstores, but rather were at grocery stores, drugstores, because, quote, that's where women are. So Elwood approached Harlequin with the idea of Laser Books. Laser followed Harlequin's strategy of giveaways, and so Seeds of Change by Thomas Monteleone was sent to bookstores for free as a promotion. It was also included with any Laser book ordered and was handed out for free at conventions. This book has kind of become a joke in the industry, unfortunately. Not only is this the science fiction book that doesn't sell, it's the one that you can't even give away. Monteleone regretted the decision to have his book featured as a giveaway and believed that its oversaturation harmed his career. It's kind of like when your iPhone came from the store with a free U2 album that you didn't ask for downloaded on it. But I'm not comparing Seeds of Change to U2 because, for all I know, Seeds of Change might actually be good. U2 sucks. No big deal, I know the score. But the unique logo, space-age design, and vibrant cover was an instant hit, and soon Laser Books were everywhere, releasing 3 new books every month. 57 numbered Laser Books were published, 58 if you include the initial promo. 37 authors were published by Laser Books, and it was the debut for many of them, including K.W. Jeter and Tim Powers. But for every new name, Laser also featured established authors such as Piers Anthony, Raymond F. Jones, Jerry Soule, Jerry Purnell, and Aaron Wolfe, who was a pseudonym for Dean Koontz. Though the livery changed slightly at book 37, each and every Laser book had a cover painting by Kelly Freas. Each cover boasts a floating head, and I even read that there was a contest at a convention that a lucky winner's head would be a model for a Laser Book's floating head, but I wasn't able to confirm if it actually took place. In my opinion, this design decision was a great decision because you can spot a Laser Book from 30 feet away. Also starting at number 37 was a price increase from 95 cents to $1.25, but also Freas started doing wraparound covers at the same time, so, maybe it's a wash. Now, a quick aside, Roger Elwood did some writing, mostly Christian fiction in the 90s, and that's actually where I first heard of him. You see, being a good Christian boy, I frequented Christian bookstores with my mom when I was younger. Now, I remember those days being bored stiff while my mom shopped, and one day I saw a science fiction book on the shelf. Now, my mom was sweet enough to buy it for me, which I'm sure all but ensured her ticket to heaven. But I remember really enjoying it. The book was called Sean Hawk, and I reread it a few years ago, and to my surprise, it holds up fairly well. Which is more than can be said for other Christian literature from my childhood. The thing is, I actually didn't realize it was the same Roger Elwood until I started doing research for this video here. So you might think, well, wait a minute. What's a devout Christian doing working with Harlequin romance? How did that get on? We'll get to that shortly. But before we do actually see Elwood's influence in these Laser books. For instance, mild cursing is allowed, but nothing vulgar. Also, there's no sex and no atheism found in a single Laser book. The protagonist must be male, even though Laser featured 3 female authors, and every single book must have an upbeat, happy ending. Also, no slang, and no big words. These restrictions made the stories found in a Laser book as formulaic as their cover. Now, this may not necessarily be a bad thing because many readers enjoy and find comfort in the familiar, especially readers of Harlequin romance. These are quick books, capped at 60,000 words with large, easy-to-read font and acceptable quality paper and bindings. I've yet to see a Laser book falling to pieces in my hands. The value of Laser books varies as well. The final book was only available to subscribers and is subsequently quite rare and expensive, while number 0 is, as we've discussed, the legendary SF book that you can't give away. What began with Roger Elwood ended with Roger Elwood. His name on a cover, once a sign of quality, soon became synonymous with mediocrity. Harlequin noticed, and starting at number 37, Roger Elwood's name was shifted from being prominently featured on the front cover to hidden away in the back. James Nichol has stated, Elwood's capacity to produce anthologies at high speed was not, alas, matched with an ability to produce interesting anthologies. And fellow SF editor Teresa Nielsen Hayden wasn't nearly as nice and has accused Elwood of, quote, single-handedly breaking the anthology market and, by wrecking readers' faith in collections, has squandered industry credibility accumulated over decades by better anthologists. Rumors of him underpaying authors circulated, along with other financial sidesteps and dirty dealings. He was also accused by publishers of selling the exact same anthology, but under a different name to rival publishers at the same time. But perhaps worse than all that is what Elwood did to these stories. You see, most, if not all, of these Laser books are heavily edited. Tim Powers has stated that Epitaph and Rust was absolutely mangled by Elwood. Along with Elwood's reputation, the quality of Laser books began to wane. Even some of the latter paintings by Frias looked tired. Unfortunately, Laser books, which started so strong, ended up being a flash in the pan, and Harlequin canceled the Laser line after only 2 years. Despite the controversies and the petering close, personally, I believe the legacy of Laser books is more positive than negative. Though mostly average in story quality, there were several high notes and no real bad books. Additionally, Elwood employed many brand new and debut writers. This was their break. Now, he may have done this to save a buck or two, but it jump-started the career of many authors. After the Laser line was suspended, all the rights reverted back to the authors, so many of them were able to republish their stories unabridged, and thus ends this strange tale of Laser books. So what do you do if you find one of these bizarre yet cool floating heads in the wild? From everything I've read, a Laser book may be the closest thing to a guarantee of a pretty good read, and it may be one of the really good exceptions. In conclusion, despite the many negatives, I'm grateful that something weird like this is out there, that there are fascinating little corners of SF history with real-life stories as strange as the contents therein. Elwood may have been a polarizing figure, and the harm he caused shouldn't be undersold, but neither should his positive impact be understated. So many new authors got their break from him. So again, what do you do if you stumble across a Laser in the wild? Personally, I give him a home. I have found that as I collect vintage science fiction, and the more I collect, I see my love and my appreciation for it growing. Even the low quality, the controversial, and the bad. Plus, I believe that all books, even those from authors long past, deserve a shelf to belong on. Plus, let's be honest, these are dang cool, and that's the reason why we got into this biz.